Hi everyone, and welcome back to Famagusta. In my last video I showed you how I got here. I got to northern Cyprus and I showed you what this town is like a bit. But there's a part of this town over there. You can see in the distance some tall buildings. All those buildings, they are empty, abandoned or unfinished. Either way, that is going to be a very interesting part of this town to explore. It's called Varosha. So let's head over there and see what it's like, and I'll tell you the story of how that came to be. Oh, let's be careful over here. There we go. In 1974, the British Army evacuated the town of Varosha. The British Army then and still now hold bases here on the island of Cyprus, and they were just in time because a few hours later in Varosha, the Turkish army and the Greek Cypriots, they clashed, and the Turkish army captured the town of Varosha, and they've held it empty ever since, until a few years ago they allowed Turkish nationals and Turkish Cypriots to enter, and in 2020 it has been opened to the public. So let's go and have a look inside. I think this house right here might have been used back in the days of the battle as a base for the Turkish army, and it still is. You can see by the sign there. The town's over there, so let's go have a look. I managed to get into Varosha. It's actually quite easy. I just ask you a few questions. I got this bicycle. The entrance is free, by the way. I got this bicycle for 15 Turkish lira, which is just over €1, and now I am free to explore as long as I stay within the lines like this one. And it's swarming with police and soldiers everywhere. All around there are all these lovely old businesses like this one. New Smoky Joe's restaurant. You can still see the kitchen inside. We're gonna have a little peek inside, and over there there's the White Horse Inn right between the big hotel buildings. Unfortunately, I have my personal FBI agent walking over there, and he's checking up on me whether I don't accidentally or intentionally cross the rope here. I love this stylized church bell over here, very brutalist, and especially with the same style hotel in the background. It looks really wonderful. Really must have been so new and so modern when this was built, only to be abandoned a few years later. There's so much about this place that still feels like it's part of the British Empire. I mean, cycling on the wrong side of the road. They've got these crazy plugs for your electronics. They've also got in Britain. And look at this mailbox over here. Looks like it comes right out of Westminster in the 1970s. Crazy. And seeing all these remnants from the British Empire here in Varosha does make me thirsty for a cup of tea. And what better place to have it than standing with my feet in the Mediterranean here in Cyprus. And here, from the only bit of beach that's open to the public, you can really see how big this town of Varosha was, and how big of an abandoned place they left behind. All along the beachfront is full of hotels and apartments. It's really impressive. To the right I found UN headquarters. Apparently there are UN soldiers stationed here, and by the coat of arms there, I'm guessing they're from Slovakia apparently. You can see they were just building this hotel. The rebar is sticking out at the top. They were building the reinforced structure of a new hotel. The crane is still lying right there, and they were brutally interrupted by the war here when this place was evacuated. And now it's been laying here for 45 years or so already. These buildings right here, you can see evidence of the fighting that went on in this town in Varosha. Perhaps this building even collapsed in the battle or afterwards. It's not entirely clear, but in these ones you can see bullet holes, the shell impacts on the side. It's crazy to imagine that 45 years ago a big battle raged in this town. And this travel agency, if you look inside, you can see what flights they offered where they went. And you can see Athens is up there. That must have been a flight to Ellinikon Airport, the airport I explored last year. That's closed now. It's cool to see a flight going there. From here you can see all the signs. They're in English, which shows what a tourist town this must have been. One of the great pleasures that this town of Varosha offers now is to look at the old signs on the shop fronts from the 70s. Here you can see the Bank of Cyprus, but there are so many more. Some multinational companies, some companies that still exist, some companies that don't anymore. And this is really different from many of the places I explored before, because many of the abandoned places I've went before, they were from the other side of the Iron Curtain. So either they had no company names or company names that I'm not familiar with. And here in Varosha, you can walk in the streets of a capitalist country like it was back in the 70s. So, can you come here and explore on your own a little bit? Well, technically you can hop a fence and just walk inside, but it never really feels relaxed because it's a place with security, police force and 2 armies stationed here. It looks very cool to explore one of these places, but it doesn't feel super comfortable with so many people trying to stop you outside. But this, I'm being a bit quiet because I hear some people outside. This is the interior of some rich person's home here in Varosha. Perhaps a movie star lived here because this place was quite popular with the international jet set and movie stars. This might have been one of their several homes. It's starting to get a bit dark, so I'm going to head on my way out of Varosha, out of this beautiful abandoned town. If you are on Cyprus, I really recommend you visit it for a day. Just walk around and experience what a British holiday resort in the 70s looked like. See the many abandoned buildings. If you are looking for a more hardcore Urbex destination, well, this is a challenging place to explore, but a very rewarding place because it's crawling with soldiers and police and security guards, so you really have to be on your watch all the time. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you did too, and I hope to see you next time for my next video.